here's the deal. Everything that you're going to hear out of me, you already heard today. You just get to hear it in my voice. So I'm going to echo so much of what happens. And I didn't write this. I wrote a speech. It was not ChatGPT. It was me. And so much of what you're going to hear is the same thing. And why is that? Because it's real. Because it's true. Because it's everybody's version of the same thing that works. It was said earlier in the day. Nobody's recreating the wheel here. This is the stuff. So you're going to dig in how you see fit. And here we go. Oh, yeah, that's slide number 2. Here's me, Jen Davis, realization coach. I lovingly and jokingly call myself a recovering realtor. Why is that? I used to sell real estate full time until a bunch of life stuff happened that we'll get into. And you all know real estate, it gets in your blood. You got to take a hit every once in a while, even if you're not selling it. So that's me. However, realization coach is my jam. It is my passion. Some people confuse passion with crazy, and I would like to be clear, please. I am batshit passionate. So that's me. As a realization coach, I work with folks just like you and the regular public to help them level up the areas of their lives that they would like to see improvement on, whether it be personal or professional. So today I'm going to talk to you about what it is that you want. We're going to surmise the entire day and hopefully send you off on your way, getting ready to make shit happen out in your life and business. One of my favorite quotes, do not wait. Don't wait for the opportunity, create it. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about. So what do you want? Do you know? Have you defined it? Have you dreamt about it? Have you envisioned it? Have you followed a path that takes away everything else outside of what it is that you want? That's rough. This is a beautiful quote. I'm going to read it just because I want it for all of you. I hope you make the best of it, and I hope you see things that startle you. I hope you feel things you've never felt before. I hope you meet people with a different point of view. I hope you live a life you are proud of. And if you find that you are not, I hope you have the strength to start all over again. So I'm going to tell you the story. It's the story. And it's the story that thrust me into my obsession to know what it is that I truly, truly want in life. And how I knew that the way I was living my life before wasn't serving me anymore. So this is a special place for me, this resort right here. In 2016, my boyfriend Elvis, he proposed to me right out here on the grassy point, and in a spectacular way. It was a flash mob proposal. He recruited Ohana family. There was over 100 people out here dancing and whatever. It was spectacular. It was amazing. So our wedding was set for the end of May in 2017. And it is the weekend of my bachelorette party, and I'm getting ready to do it. My girls had planned the stuff at the resort, right? I'm like, I'm getting ready for this. So I'm about to jump in the shower. I get a phone call from Elvis. Hey, babe, do you mind if I bring so-and-so home? We'll hang out in the man cave. We'll drink beers. We'll play darts. And I'm like ready to leave for a long weekend, right? And I'm annoyed at this phone call. Yeah, whatever, I'll be gone, but go ahead and bring whoever home. Like, you don't want to hang out with me. So clearly he heard this in my voice and he said, well, what do you want? And, well, what I wanted was, I want you to come home and I want you to love on me and I want you to tell me how beautiful I am and how much you're going to miss me for the weekend and how excited you are to share your life with me in less than 30 days. And that's not at all what I said. What I said was, whatever, I want you to do whatever you want to do. And again, he heard it in my voice and he said, well, honey, what do you want me to do? Here was my chance. And I doubled down. No, do whatever you want to do. Whatever. I'm going to get in the shower. I got to go. Okay? He asked me 3 times, what do you want? Not one time did I tell him what, in fact, I wanted. So I'm in the shower. Longest shower of my life, right? I'm doing the fake tanner. I'm going to the resort. It's my bachelorette weekend, right? So Longest shower ever. I get out of the shower, nobody's home. Well, they should be making a ruckus in the garage. So I go check the garage, nobody's there. So I go to find my phone because now I have to make that obligatory, where the hell are you? You told me you were on your way home. What are you doing? Well, there was a missed call, but it wasn't Elvis, it was another number. I listened to the voicemail and it says this: Elvis has been in an awful accident. We're taking him to the hospital right now. You need to get there quickly and please drive safely. What? No. Nope. Nope. See, I control everything in my life, and this is not part of the plan, and I don't really understand what this voicemail is saying, so I call it back. What's going on? It's the paramedic. Elvis asked me to call you. He has a severe concussion, and he keeps repeating, you need to call Jen, you need to call Jen, I got your number. We are just getting to the hospital. You have to get here very quickly, and you need to drive safely. Not processing, because I didn't plan this. Nobody plans this. You're like, what? No. Hospital, this dude is trying to take my bachelorette weekend away from me. Son of a bitch. All right, I gotta go change because I don't know how long I'm gonna be at the hospital. So I go and I change, and it's processing, but it's not processing. So I get in the car, and for those of you who know Kona, we live past Palisades, like above the airport, right? And the Kona Hospital is like past where we are right now. Longest drive of my life. With the paramedic's voice going, drive safely. And I'm like, has this dude ever met an ambulance at the airport? He must not have, because who's gonna drive safely, right? So I'm just tearing the roads. So I get there, and a number of the people that he works with are already there. They knew before I got the message. So what's going on? Well, he's in the emergency room. Nobody can tell me what's going on. Okay, so we're hanging out. Time goes by. I go, maybe I should call his daughter. Yeah, okay, I'll just let her know what's going on. I guess I should call, they're in California, I guess. So I start making phone calls, right? I have to stay busy because nobody knows what's happening. And eventually he gets out of the emergency room and he gets up to the ICU. And over the course of the evening that we were at the hospital, you know, the doctor's trying to update me on what's going on. The doctors, by the way, they don't speak English. They don't speak to you're 30% down and grieving right now because you're not sure what's going on. So whatever he was saying wasn't processing, right? He's alive. That's what I know. That's what I'm focusing on. And okay, so he's gonna get better because again, we're getting married in 28 days, right? So again, because it was out of my control, I thought, of course, he's trying to steal my thunder. My wedding, this dude is gonna be in a full body cast down the aisle. He's gonna marry, or whatever. We're getting married in 28 days. So, that didn't happen. See, he was hit on his motorcycle on the way home, and he flew off of it, and it was on Costco Road. It was on Hinalani. And he busted open his pelvis, and he severed whatever the main line to his left leg was. So they spent the entire evening, the entire night, all night, trying to get him stable enough to transport to Queens. And ultimately, his injuries were just too significant. He passed away the next day. And he used 4 bodies worth of blood. I mean, the hospital did, props to Kona Hospital, but they did everything they could. He had the best care immediately, and it was too much. So, what now? Less than a month. It was paid for, not like it mattered, but like, we're talking about like, this was it. This was what was happening. Nobody would, like, right? Like, this is, so now the numbness takes over, the what next part. Because that was the plan. And so I was blessed enough to have amazing family and amazing ohana just envelop me with love and care and support and anything and everything. People that would get me out of bed and make me take steps because the grief is so deep. And part of that was books. People would send me books, and I don't know if any of you have ever read or attempted to read a book on grief, but in my opinion, after the first line, it was awful. I would throw them across the room, and I hated every second of it. And I don't even know how many months it was before I picked this one up, but it's called Option B, and I'll summarize it really quickly for you. Ultimately, Option B says, listen, you had Option A, you counted on Option A, you were all in for Option A, and Option A does not exist anymore. It is no longer an option. What do you do? And that kind of punches you in the gut, right? Because we don't actually want to, it's part of the grief process, we don't actually want to believe that Option A doesn't exist anymore. And the hard truth is that Option A does not exist anymore. So what do? You have Option B, and ultimately, what is Option B? We don't know. It's Option B through Z and beyond, right? So I don't know how I made the decision to move forward with Option B through Z and beyond. And I want to be really clear in that moving forward with Option B did not mean that I was done grieving. It did not mean that I had processed the trauma. And I still carry that today. It's been 6 years last month. And I still carry that. And I don't know if it will ever go away. That's part of the grieving process. I'm sure every single one of you in here has experienced something like that. And it doesn't have to be death that we grieve, right? We grieve all kinds of things. I just knew that something had to be different, that I couldn't live in bed anymore, that wasn't going to work. So we do not live in an either or world. People do that all the time. Pick one, right? It doesn't, no. We live in a both and world, right? So that's where multiple intense opposite feelings can exist all in the same space. And that's really important to remember as we wake up every single day. So I'm here sharing because I want you to figure all of this stuff out and take action before you start asking, what's next? Or is it too late? And you all chose this amazing real estate career. It enables us to do wonderful things in our lives if we choose to let it. And that means that life and business are all one and the same, right? Our life is real estate and real estate is our life. So everything that I'm going to talk about today applies to all of it. So if I forget to say business when I'm saying life, just know that that's what I mean. I know Dylan loves this. I love it because you'll hear me talk about in my coaching the stories we tell ourselves. It's a Brene Brown thing, if you're familiar. So the Wolf of Wall Street wants you to know that the only thing standing between you and your goal is the bullshit story you keep telling yourself as to why you can't achieve it. And that's it. It's a story that you tell yourself. You made it up. It's not real. Because I believe you can have anything you want. This is an actual map of my life. It might look similar to some of your maps. This is the starting point. That is the destination. This is actually, I'm going to give you a great life analogy that I've adapted from Mike Dooley. It's the GPS analogy. So let's pretend you're visiting an old college buddy in a state that you've never been to, Timbuktu, and it's 3 hours away from the airport, right? You fly in, you land, you get your rental car, and the only thing you are aware of is that you have a 3 hour some drive ahead of you, and you know the destination. You have the address that that person had given you, and you know nothing else. You do not know the route, you know nothing, right? So you get in the car, you put GPS, and then we blindly trust this GPS system to get us to where homie said we're supposed to go, right? We blindly trust it, and we're like, yeah, Google Maps, go team. And so, man, it was a long flight. I'm hungry. I saw a chicken nugget place over there, but it's not on my route. But I'm hungry. I'm going to go ahead and go stop. I'm going to grab a milkshake. I got to eat, right? What does that GPS do if we go off course? Reroute, right? I'm going to get my hamburger. I'm going to enjoy my milkshake. I'm going to get back in the car, and that GPS is going to reroute me right back to the route to the destination that I've told it that it needs to go to. oh man, it was a long flight. A few miles back, I saw a hotel. I really need to take a rest, right? I'm gonna flip it, I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna rest. And when I get in the car in the morning, what is that GPS gonna do? It is going to reroute me again, right? Wow, my GPS was not aware of the road construction going on. It's gonna ask me to take a left down this dirt road. I'm not even sure, like, murderers live over there, I'm sure of it. But this GPS has my destination, and it knows where it's gonna go. So what's it gonna do? It's gonna reroute me. This is life. If we know our destination, if we have it set, if we are clear on where we are going, no matter the shit that happens, right? We will get there because we know where we're going. This is a fun one that I like. I don't know, has anybody ever heard this? I'm gonna read it and then it's like not real English, so I'm gonna translate it for you. I bargained with life for a penny and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is a just employer, he gives you what you ask. But once you have set the wages, why, you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire only to learn dismayed that any wage I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid. Wait, what? I can ask for anything I want and life will give it to me? But if I start this big, life will give it to me? But it won't give me any more because that's what I asked for? Oh shit, what if I ask for this? Will life give it to me? Yeah, because I asked for it. But it's not going to give you any more than you ask for. So ask for it. I had a client who would tell me, Jen, I don't know what's wrong. I just struggle all the time. I pray to God. Just, God, please give me enough. Just give me enough. And that's all she gets, just enough. That's it. This world, the abundance that exists is just insane, right? If any of you were in real estate in COVID times and everybody's like, oh God, we're never gonna sell real estate again. The money that was flowing to the Big Island alone, has anybody seen so much cash in their lives? No. Outside of that, if you weren't, y'all, the earth grows food. There's food in the ocean and they walk on the land. Are you kidding me? Like, tell me there's no abundance? Pfft, nope. Okay. The quality of your life and business are a direct reflection of the quality of your thoughts, beliefs, habits, and perspective. And there are times like today when you'll have to choose to stay in your old, comfortable, unhealthy patterns, or you can choose to love yourself enough to do the work to change them. But Jen, I hear this often. But Jen, I don't have time for the work. I have excuse. Insert excuse here, right? We all have them, me too. I get it. And here's the deal, I hate to break it to you, and of course when I say this next thing, I'm not talking about the work that Justice does on social media, I'm talking about like the cats taking baths kind, right? Like if you have time to scroll through that stuff, if you have time to binge watch Netflix, if you have time to complain or feel sorry for yourself, then yes, you absolutely do have time to count your blessings, to set goals, to create awareness surrounding bettering yourself. So I'm going to challenge you all to take a look at those excuses, and I'm pretty sure you may find some reasons to actually get going in there. This is saying that the magic happens outside of your comfort zone. So as a child, I remember being asked specific questions like, what do you want for dinner? As if my mom cared, right? Like, or what do you want for your birthday? And I knew the answers because they were specific. They were great questions and I could think exactly what I wanted. And while I was writing this speech, I did a little experiment. I asked my Hanai niece, she's 12, and I thought I knew what she was gonna say, and I was wrong. I said, hey, has anybody ever asked you what you want in life, right? Not your 12-year-old, what's next, right? What's tomorrow? What in life? And she went, yeah. I was like, what? Fantastic, you're 12, most adults haven't. Okay, what's the answer? And she kind of giggled. She's like, I don't know. I was like, well, of course you don't, because you're 12. And also, presumably, you have 80 years ahead of you, right? There's a lot of time to think about a lot of broad stuff, which is great. Then I asked her the level 2 questions. Well, and she said, no, I want a family, and I want a good paying job that I like going to, like a good working community. I said, okay, that's a great start. Let's go deeper. Tell me about your family. How do you feel in it? What kind of job do you see yourself working? What does good paying mean to you? How do you feel appreciated by people? How might your job do that for you? She's looking at me like, what? And she kind of lit up and she was like, oh, I get it. I was like, yeah, right? And so she never thought about them before, but I guarantee you she's going to think about them now. And so I'm thinking maybe you can relate. Maybe nobody ever really asked you to go a little bit deeper than the initial thought. And if that never happened, of course, how would you know, right? So as children, we're dreamers. We have nice ideas about what we want. They're nice. And then school happens and life happens and peer pressure and work and society throws us a bunch of junk. And we are conditioned away from what our dreams were. But they were never defined anyway, so it's that lack of definition that made the path easy to stray from. And then we let people like our family and our friends and other people that actually don't even know us tell us that what we want, if we have to find it, that it's dumb or that it's unattainable. Why? Their limited mindset, their limited ability. They tried one time and couldn't do it, so automatically they think you can't do it. Like, who are they, right? And also, as adults, we often think that we have to do something or that we're forced to do something. And that story unto itself is bullshit also. There's always a choice. The problem is that we never really learned how to know. The strongest factor for success is self-esteem, believing you can do it, believing you deserve it, and believing that you will get it. So I ask again, what do you want? If I asked you to write a list, you would probably be able to throw a few things on there, and maybe some of these items would be on there. Be happy, have more money, more freedom, feel at peace, have a work-life balance, feel fulfilled, more passion. Anybody's stuff on this list? Yeah. You know how I know that? It's been studied. So if so many people want this stuff, why does nobody feel like they have it? It's a crazy phenomenon, right? You'd think that somebody would be like, I figured it out. And they did. I'll get there. So we don't know how to get these things because we don't know what it means. And I guarantee you that the version of any one of these things on this list is different for every single one of you in there, right? Every single one of you have a different version of what happy or successful or more money looks like. Because I could say, oh, you want to make more money? Here's $5. Does that suit you for the year? You're going to be like, no. How would I? You just made more money. What does that look like? Right? So it's a hamster wheel of circumstance. I want one of these things. I just don't know how to get it because I don't know what it means. So we're going to hopefully change that right now. Can we all agree that what we focus on expands? Yeah, I see a lot of heads nodding, right? I'm going to buy a red truck. There are no red trucks in Kona. And now I want a red truck, and oh my God, they're everywhere, right? Yeah, classic example. Okay? So if what we focus on expands, then thoughts do in fact become things, right? Well, some of you guys are like, what? So what's amazing about this is that you get to decide what and how to think. You get to decide. You're not a victim to your thoughts, right? You get to decide. And for this exercise to be effective or to move forward in that line of thinking, I also want you to understand that, and Mike Dooley calls them the cursed who's and the cursed how's, right? And ultimately that means the people or the path. You do not get to decide the exact people or the exact path. You get to decide the destination, and your job is to be open to everything in between, right? You get to decide characteristics of people you want in your life, not the person you want in your life, okay? I got a long way to go that timer. So the people are the path. We don't get to control. So here's an example. What does this mean? I would be happier if, insert name, would just, insert thing, right? I would make more money if Dylan would just get more team leads and give them to me, right? I would have more time in my day if Mr. Zillow buyer didn't run me around to all these houses that he's not going to buy anyway. No, ma'am. You guys want to know a secret? This is like the secret. Ready? Pay attention. Expecting the end result, such as wealth, abundance, health, harmony, friends, laughter, all of that good stuff, in broad brushstrokes. This is the beginning of manifestation. It's part of the secret formula for the life that you desire. Expecting your path to follow a certain route, like I'm going to write a bestseller and that's how I'm going to get rich, right? Or if only that specific particular person falls in love with me, that's my life. Or that one diet is going to be my gateway to happiness, success, whatever. So what that does is it messes with all of the possibility that this world has to offer. We get so attached to stuff and people. It really messes with the cursed who's and the cursed hows. So, don't do that. If you're counting on anyone or anything outside of yourself to get to your goal, you're going to be more disappointed than you are happy about it. When you subscribe to that line of thinking, it creates a victim mentality in your own life. And it's a bummer to feel that way. So this is the part that I'm passionate about. I want you to know and feel it in your bones that you have the power to create the life and the business that you want and that you feel like you deserve. Your world, your life, your business, it's created by you every single day. So if you don't like something, you have to change it. Ooh, this is a hard one. So I'm going to ask again, what do you want? Because clarity is power. When you answer this question for yourself, you need to apply all of your senses. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? Right? Jill manifested. You heard her this morning tell you all of those things. Then I want you to define it. And then define it again. And then define it again. Define it until you can't define it anymore. Then focus on it. Then ask for it. You have to have the courage to be vulnerable enough to put it out into the world. It takes guts. It takes grit. You'd think that I was a fly on the wall for literally every single person that stood up here and gave you something, because this encompasses all of it. I want you to ask the energy that surrounds you for this thing. I want you to ask in your prayers and your meditations. I want you to ask the people in your life and business. I want you to make those decisions in your life and business that support that thing. This is a tough one, y'all. Get honest with people about who you are, what you want, and how you expect to be treated. Standards only scare off people not meant for you. Now, this is true in your life and in your business. You do not have to work with that asshole client. You don't. You get to control the narrative. Okay. Now that you know what you want, how do we get it? Well, that's the simple part, actually. And mind you, I said simple, not easy, right? You show up. You show up. You put in the work. You do the hard thing, right? You take the classes. You practice the scripts. You are prepared to win every day. You out loud and on purpose show gratitude for what's currently happening in your life that you want more of, and you make agreements actively to change the thoughts and the things that aren't serving you. And this is a pretty easy way to start if you're not sure. What was your goal? What did you want? How did you do? How do you feel about that? Based on how you did, what's your new goal? And now what do you need to do? Now we have two options, right? Is there anything that might keep you from doing that? This is a really important question. Identifying your obstacles up front will make them easier to overcome when they come up. If you needed training support, what would that be? Now, back to step one, right? Constant reassessment of what's happening in our lives. Allow new information to change you if it serves you. Remember option B through Z and beyond, all of those things that may happen? Life is moving constantly, and we are always presented with new information, ever-changing information. So give yourself permission to decide differently, right? You're not needing to stick with the thoughts you had when you didn't know any better. So what we're doing here today, and what every speaker you've heard today, is it's bringing more awareness to you. It's only a benefit. So awareness creates choice, and choice improves performance. Simple as that. So before this awareness, you might have been stuck in behavior patterns that didn't serve you, they weren't working for you, and you knew that, you just didn't know what to do, you didn't know how to get out of it. And I'm gonna let you off the hook on this one, that's actually totally normal. Your behavior patterns, they're literally wired into your nervous system. And so interrupting those patterns, it takes way more than just willpower, right? It takes more than just the decision to change them. So what it takes is the awareness. It takes external reminders and reinforcers and time. Lots of time and repetition. And repetition. And repetition. The moment you accept responsibility for everything in your life, is the moment you gain the power to change anything in your life. It's up here. And what if, my goodness, everything you are going through right now is preparing you for everything that you asked for? What if? Life is not happening to you. Life is responding to you. Your life is your call. Your business is your call. There's no timetable that anyone here has to follow. Your parents might have told you that, teachers, other people, it's made up. It's not real. You, each of you individually, are one of 7 billion people on this earth, and there is no way that 7 billion people are doing it all in the same order, the same way. And we know this because we're a group of realtors, and if you've ever tried to ask realtors to do the same thing at the same time, it's damn near impossible. So use that one, right? So if nobody's doing it in the same order, the same way, then who's to say what is late or what is early? And compared to who? And who are these people saying it anyway, right? Don't beat yourself up for where you are right now. It's your schedule, and you're right on time. This is a fun one, you all. Your competition is not other people. It's nobody here in this room. Your competition is your ego. Your competition is your procrastination. It's the unhealthy patterns that you don't want to address. It's the knowledge you neglect. It's the negative nature you continue to nurture. And it's your lack of creativity. So I'm going to ask you to compete against that. So the truth is, most of this is way easier said than done, initially, right? Initially. And talk is cheap, and that's where the hard work comes in. So is it harder to choose to eat the apple over the candy bar every day? Yeah, I love chocolate. And they're right next to each other on my counter. Sometimes it's hard. Is it harder 5 years later to address the problems in your life from choosing the candy bar over the apple every day?
Yes. Yes.
Most definitely. Same in your business. So is it tough to wake up every day and do the not fun parts of your job? Yeah. I love shopping with home buyers, right? That's the most fun. Getting them there, less fun. So the prospecting, lead generating, lead follow-up, it all gets tedious, right? I've heard it said, as a realtor, if you're doing your job right, it is boring. So what happens if you decide not to do these things? You wake up in the future with nothing in your bank account, and you're probably unemployed. How would you like your future self to look back? With gratitude or with regret? The other part of that is from my story, we're guessing you're going to be here in 5 years now, right? Set yourself up. You have to do it now because nobody knows what's happening when we walk out this door. If you don't make the time to work on creating the life you want, you're eventually going to be forced to spend a lot of time dealing with a life you do not want. So guess what? You'll screw up. We all do. You'll mess up. It's inevitable, I promise. Over and over and over, if we don't learn. A mistake repeated more than once is a decision. It's okay to mess up. We all do it. You are not your mess ups. Mess ups get cleaned up every day. I wasn't sure if I was going to say this, but it keeps calling to me. And I very often, this is a personal thing, I'm letting you into my Jen brain. I very often think, you know, Kim Kardashian became famous after her sex tape. And like, that was like a really big mess up, right? She probably was freaking out. And I'm like, oh, I've never done anything that, we're good. There's no mess up that can't be cleaned up, short of assuming you're here the next day, right? There's nothing that you can't clean up or that you can't get help clean up. Say again? I didn't either. I just know that it exists. Right? And so again, choose, right? But don't attach to the messes. Keep the arm's length, right? The mess is not your identity. And they get cleaned up. So Nelson Mandela said, I never lose. To Derek's point, I win or I learn. So allow yourself that gift. You will then have the new awareness that will allow you to create new choices for yourself. And in turn, that will improve your performance in your life and business. Awesome news. This is like the most exciting news, right? There is absolutely no statute of limitations on starting over. You can reinvent yourself every single day, every single minute if you want. There's an amazing and beautiful thing about your brain. You are not stuck with the one that you were born with. You're not even stuck with the one that you walked in here this morning with. You've received so much information today. You are already changing. You are already leveling up. So do something with it. Be firm about your choices right now. Don't go backwards to habits and situations that weren't helping you evolve. You have to keep reminding yourself why you even decided to move forward. Stay positive about what's to come by being consistent with your change now. Now. Or now. Okay? This is a tough one, but I would be not doing my job if I didn't make you all aware, if you weren't already. Your growth will trigger people because it brings them face to face with their own shit. People don't like change. Just regular old change, not even like dramatic change, right? People just don't like that the carpet is blue today and it was green yesterday. They really don't like change when it forces them to question their own choices. When you start growing, you will be a mirror for people who already don't like what's happening in their own lives. And they will try to bring you back down. Do not let them. Walk on by. Yes, Kara. She's singing. We're going to have a concert later. In 2018, which was only a year and a half after Elvis had passed, and I was still in grieving, as I mentioned. I carry it regularly. Someone asked me that question again, that question that punched me in the gut, that what do you want question. And what that person did not know was that I carried it with me since Elvis passed, What if I had just said it? What if I said what I wanted? Would he be here? Would that have changed anything? Did I kill him because I didn't say what I wanted? Obviously, that's not right. And that line of thinking, it serves no purpose. And still, there was regret. There was an emptiness because I wasn't true to myself, because I didn't have the courage to be who I was. I wasn't my authentic self. I was a smart-assy, sarcastic. That was the old me, right? It didn't serve me anymore. So there that question was again, what do you want? Well, I'll tell you, I knew the answer then. And because I was never going to allow regret to run my life, I knew it to be true. And I said it out loud over and over and over. And was I ready for the question? No, I wasn't. The person who asked me the question, guy in the blue shirt back there, gave me 2 beautiful children. I knew what I wanted. the bald-headed black guy over there. What? Don't be embarrassed. What? Is there a problem here? What? So I did. I knew what I wanted, and I wasn't ever going to let the opportunity escape me again. What I wanted was to do this, was to stand up here in front of you and share and help you learn and grow. Hi. I knew I wanted to coach. I knew I wanted to inspire, and I knew that the thing that lit me up was the spark inside of each one of you that I get to see. And so I'm living my dream with my babies and my man. So I want that knowing for you. I want it for you, and I know that you can have it. And so because our brains need to hear our own voice tell us how it is, I'm going to read this first, and then I'm going to ask y'all to go back to 5th grade with me and read it out loud with me again. This next season of my life, that is the second you walk out this door, will require new levels of courage, confidence, and consistency from me. No matter how I feel, I will not allow fear to hold me back. I want this, I deserve this, and I'm determined to have it. Can we all do it together? This next season will require new levels of courage, confidence, and consistency from me. No matter how I feel, I will not allow fear to hold me back. I want this, I deserve this, and I'm determined to have it. Yes. Yes. That was good. I wasn't sure how that was going to go, but you made me believe. You made me believe. So, of course, I've only scratched the surface of some of these ideas. There is depth to these life-changing tools. And 30 minutes, I don't know where I'm at. 30 minutes couldn't cover all of it. So I would like to encourage you that if anything you heard here all day from any one of the speakers resonates with you, I invite you to dig in deeper. Reach out to them. Contact them. Ask the questions, right? You're all here for the same purpose. Join in, right? Find yourself a coach whose approach you like. There's a table back there, Intentional Success Coaching. They're at your fingertips if you feel like you need some help. Go find them. Find a trusted friend or a colleague that will ask you the tough questions. We all need help sometimes, every single one of us. Not one person on this earth was meant to go at it alone. The support you need to live the life that you want is one conversation away. And remember that your actions always will speak louder than your words. Okay? So get out there and just make some shit happen, huh?